Welcome to BhaaviTaram, Legacy for the Future. Today, we are more excited because we bring another exciting video for you. Last week, we said 7 steps of wealth building. We spoke 3 steps last week, right? We spoke 3 steps. Today, we are going to talk about rest of the 4 steps as a part of continuing and our second video. So without any delay, let's jump into the presentation. I'll start sharing my presentation, then we'll start talking about what are the next steps, what else you can do it for 7 steps, right? It's a very, very interesting and important to know what are the 7 simple steps to build wealth and how you can leverage, right? But before we jumping into our presentation or the things we share, one disclaimer. Views or suggestions presented in this video is not a professional advice. Use it on your own discretion, choosing to adopt these steps. If required, do consult expert, take a expert advice. Right? Let's go and see what are the next steps. So first video, we talked about the budget and different types of budget, how you do this. And then talked about building an emergency fund of about $1,000 or about 25,000 rupees, depending upon your country where you are. Then building a reserves of money for, something would happen, job loss or anything happen, you should be able to survive for next 3 to 6 months the same lifestyle, right? Now, what is the next one? What is the fourth one? Fourth step to build the wealth. Overcome financial mistakes. Everybody has a good intentions. But sometimes what happens is whatever the step we take, we could make some mistakes. That could lead to really a financially tough situations possible, right? If something would that happen, we would recommend definitely take a professional advice. And one of my suggestion or recommendation is, I do not want you to go for a financial bankruptcy. If it is in India, they call IP, insolvent petition, right? Why? Because it creates a lot of disturbance in life, financially, emotionally, relationally, all kinds of things. That has to be only the ultimate step, last resort. But how you can overcome it, it's a good idea to take some suggestions, because with our limited knowledge, we made some mistakes and we became this situation. This is what happened. So what is the best thing to do is take in a suggestion from a professional, proper expertise. Take some references from the friends and family, right? But one of the things most people recommend is, something like called pro rata. In the sense, first, you have to figure out 3 or 4 important aspects of your life to run, like food, maybe roof over table, maybe you need some transportation or things like that, basic things you need to put on a low budget, not lavishly spending, but the low budget. And whatever the money you are able to getting in, maybe pay it on a pro rata, right? But you have to dig out of yourself. Maybe you have to do extra work or extra job or anything, right? Things like that. Okay. So that is one. I wish nobody will get into this situation. I pray for everybody. We should not go into this situation, but just in case, right? Digging out of the situation. Now, what is the next step? Fifth step for building the wealth is insurance. I know most of us may not be happy to pay the insurance. Hey, it's a waste of money or whatever, however you think. And also, we do not want to use also, right? Because if you have to claim the insurance, that means something wrong happened, something bad happened. We lost something, right? Now, Again, based on your situation and suggestions, you have to do it. Nowadays, they are giving insurance for everything. I mean, I was very surprised to see every month, like November, December, we get what you call request from the company where I'm working. They said, these are the different types of insurances we are offering. Hey, choose your elections, choose your subscriptions, whatever you are planning to use, right? It's scary. There were about 45 or 50 different varieties. They keep on adding. Hey, insurance is a very good business, but I have to choose properly, right? I'll give you a couple of examples. Like for example, a few months back, I bought a computer for my kids, right? And they suggested, hey, it's a good idea to take a protection plan for next 3 years. And they said this cover, that cover, water happen or people step or whatever, break screen and all that. Hey, I said, okay, it's for kids. I took it. But if I buy a cell phone or anything that for myself or any electronics, usually I don't take because, hey, I'm preparing for the 100% loss here. Let's say if I'm buying a laptop for $500, if I'm not taking any support or protection plan, I'm okay to take that risk if something would happen, right? Now, other thing I can tell you is a few years back, we bought a brand new van, okay, family van. When I'm buying it, the salesperson was really persistent and giving you lots of different ideas and examples of protection plans. You take this plan, that plan, this plan, all different kind of insurance basically, right? I did not took any of them. I said, no. Finally, for one thing, I said, yes. Looking at my kids, hey, you got small kids now, right? The group of kids are growing. Always something might happen if they're drinking a juice or eating food or something in the brand new van. What if something spills over and it will spoil the carpet or seat or this and that? He said, hey, no cost, no questions asked, we'll fix it. I asked, how much is it? It's $500 for 3 years or something like that. I said, okay, sign me up. Now, the funny thing is, within about 4 or 5 months, chocolate milk, I spilled on the floor or the carpet, and carpet all got, dirty. I took it to the dealership. Then he says, no, this is not covered. Hey, sometimes what happens is you go to read between the lines what exactly the protection is for, okay, right? So again, take your judgment, right? Let us see what are the different types of insurances we have. There are varieties of insurances, but some basic insurances I would recommend people to have it. Let's say if I have a home or you're renting an apartment, you should take a home ownership insurance or renter's insurance. Why? If something would have happened to your home or you rented a property or loss or any kind of thing happen, they will cover. Again, you got to understand the policy, what you are taking, what it is being covered, how much it is being covered. Sometimes we fall for, if the insurance premium is less, we want to take that. Now, if you're taking the insurance premium less, probably it may not solve the problem. It may not solve, it may create the problem. In the sense, let's say you took, okay, some company is offering you $500, the other company, let's say, only $100 for the insurance. Hey, this is $100, less expensive, let me go for it. But what if tomorrow something damage happened, this $100 is not covering for your damages? That means so we got to take a good judgment and talk to the agent or the professionals who you are working with and find out, right? So it is important. I highly recommend to have the renters and the home owners insurance. The next one is automotive. In automotive, again, there are many things. They say comprehensive, they say collision, all different kinds of things. Again, you got to understand because, something would, we don't want to use all this kind of insurances, but what if something goes wrong? Somebody met with accident, if you don't have insurance, maybe you get into trouble, right? Most of the time, the insurance, automotive insurance will cover health insurance or any property damage. It depends on, again, what kind of coverage you have. And again, think about the kind of limits you want to have, because most of the time, automotive insurance comes, okay, per incident, per accident, okay, we pay you so much of money. Beyond that, you have to bear with it, right? So plan your limits. What would be the best, right? And then go for it. Similarly, in health, there are many kinds of health insurance are there. Again, then there are, they say HSA. Now, of course, in country to country it differs, but you have to plan for your health, right? So find out a little bit more information. And in USA, there are a couple of things like a tax saving insurance related. Like there is something called HSA. That is a health savings account. That means the money you put in before tax into that account, but we can use any time of the life. Only thing is that has to be used only for the medical purpose. If you use it any other purpose, government will tax more on it later, but that's another advantage, because you're just paying insurance, health insurance all the time, but you're not using it, the money is gone. But this health savings or health spending account is a very good idea. If you are healthy and young, I would encourage you to put some money in this and less money on the insurance. That means the money is you are saving for future. Okay? The other one also is our net worth is growing. Sometimes the homeowners or the automotive or the health insurance, whatever the insurances you have, may not be covering the full amount. If those things are not covering the full amount, that time something called umbrella insurance kicks in. Right? So if any gap is there, it can cover. By the way, when I say gap, there is a gap insurance on automotive vehicles nowadays. In the sense, let's say if I buy a vehicle or a car or a van and have a bank loan on it, right? Let's say, for example, if met with accident, and when they are selling the car, for example, the car has to be total. That means it is no more useful. Maybe my loan is $10,000, but the value of the car at this time is only $3,000. Bank is not going to, leave me alone. I need to pay $7,000. But when you have the gap insurance, the insurance will take care of it. Things like that. There are lots of if, else, and all that, but you got to educate yourself, because these are all help you in building your wealth. Because some of these things, if you do not have it, it creates a problem. How about the disability insurance? So people, especially who are working, most of the time employers, they will provide you short-term and long-term disability. What do I mean by that? Any reason you are not able to work, some sickness, or again, there is a lot of if, else will be there. But working at office, you got accident, or somewhere else accident, or depends upon the policy how you have. I would highly encourage you to have. If you are only the person, you are the sole family member of your family earning, it's a good idea to have a short term and long term. And another one important thing is life insurance. Again, especially this one, we do not want to use at all. Because most of the time, a person who die, then their beneficiaries get the benefit, life insurance, right? So we don't want to use it all. That's not a good news. But it's a good idea to have it just in case if someone lost their life, their family and the spouse or whoever it is, left, they will not be in trouble. But my recommendation is there are varieties of life insurances. There is something called term life insurance. There are something called whole life insurance, and different things are there. But my recommendation is strong. Again, you have to take the expert advice and think about your situations and conditions. But my idea is just take the term life insurance. That means 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, however time you want, you take it. The advantage with the term life insurance is you pay very less premium, especially if you start young. But at the end of the day, either you use it or lose it. In a sense, if the policy holder dies before the policy expires, whatever the money, the premium, the policy amount, they'll pay to the family. The whole life insurance is that's different, where you pay a little more extra premiums, but they have some investment benefits also there. Again, take advice from the professionals and see your life, what is your situation and all that, okay? Because insurance is definitely important. We do not want to have it, but just in case. right? Because most of the time, if you do not have this in place, it will really throw off the track of your financial plan. How about the next one? Sixth step for building the wealth, retirement plans. If you're working, if you're an employee, right, you got to utilize these benefits again. If it is in USA, it's different. In India, it is different. In Canada, it is different, based on the country, again, place to place. One good thing I want to encourage is use it, retirement plans. Don't think that I'm too young, I don't want to save now. Actually, if you start saving today, then by the time you retire, it will be good for you. Another thing, to retire, age is not required. Money is required, actually. Most people, hey, when retirement means we may say 60 years, 65 years, whatever it is. But by the way, whatever the money you're putting in this retirement plans, that some of the government retirement plans, they have some age limit before you draw, okay, withdraw, just to know that. Because I'm saying age is not required for the retirement. Money is required. If you build enough wealth, hey, today, anytime you can walk away from your regular activity. I'm not saying that you are not doing anything, but you don't have to work for the money, then money starts working for you, right? Let's talk about it. So in USA, if you're working, there is something called IRA, individual retirement account. There are different types, multiple types. So not only just this, they say 401k, Roth IRA. Let's say talk about 401k. 401k is something similar to PF or PPF like in India, Provident Fund and all that, right? So what I mean is, when you're working as an employee, most companies, they offer some money also. Let's say if you save 3% of your salary, we also match. We'll also pay another 3%. Let's say free raise for money, increment for your salary, right? I would take it and put it in a savings account for the retirement. Right? And 401k is like RPF, these are like a pre-tax in the sense, it goes as a, right now you don't pay tax, you're deferring the tax, and when you're retired at the particular age and taking that money, at that time they charge tax on it. Most people think that, okay, right now I'm young and energetic, I'm earning a lot of money. When I retire, my income might be less, my tax percentage may be less. It may be true or may not be true, but that's a goal. You are not paying the taxes now. At the time of withdrawing the money, you pay the taxes. The next option is Roth IRA. I think it is not there in India, but it is in USA. What is Roth IRA is, basically, you pay into a retirement account, but after tax, post-tax. That means you pay the taxes now and you deposit the money into your Roth IRA or individual retirement account. When you draw the money at the time of retirement, however much money, let's say you put $1,000 today. When you retire, it's $1 million. Still, you are not paying any tax on it. My recommendation is highly recommend. There are people argue different way. Hey, why should I pay now taxes? I know when I retire, I may be making less income. Again, take the expert advice, but my recommendation is strongly recommend. Put all allowed eligible money in Roth IRA, because Roth IRA, most of the time, you are eligible when you are starting your career, because there are certain income limits. Beyond that, you cannot do it. Right? So I believe at current, it is allowing you to pay about $6,500 into this account per year, provided if your income, I believe, $130,000 or $140,000 or less, something like that. Okay. So once you start gaining experience, your salaries goes beyond that, you cannot contribute. So I would encourage you to pay this. Two advantages. Because when you are beginning of your career, if you put money into Roth IRA, your tax is definitely less percentage of tax. And it is going tax-free money. At the end, capital gain, however you do it, hey, it's all yours. What is SEP IRA? It's like self-employment pension, basically. Right? If you have a small company of your own, yes, up to 25% of your profits or something like that, you can put into this account. Okay. So again, find out what are the best instruments or the best plans you have for your retirement. And it is good to save today, because if you want to have water, it's better to dig your well before you're thirsty, right? Not when you're thirsty, you cannot start digging a well, right? So it's a good idea to do it. What is the next step? Seventh step for the building wealth. It's a will and trust. Again, country to country, it differs. I'll talk a little bit about in the US. It's a very, very important, again, to have a will and trust. There are multiple, there's a estate planning and all that, I would encourage you to take a little bit more education and start doing it. But at least I would encourage each one of you to start with a will, because it's a simple and easy to do it, right? Now, why we have to do that? Because, especially in country like USA, if you are the breadwinner and you pass it away, people will die, right? Definitely we got to go one day, right? So, but my plan is, my ambition and my plan is, desire is to live 120 years or more, healthy and happy and wealthy too, okay, right? So, now, if you do not have a will or, of course, if you have will, I believe still they call something like probate. In the sense, what I mean to say is, if there is no proper documentation when the person who is earning head of the house is die, right? What happens is the government, the court will decide how and where this money, your assets has been to be distributed to the people, your kids, your family and all that. A lot of family, friends and all different kinds of things might be involved, and maybe it may take 6 months, 1 year, or 18 months before your kids are there, the family gets it, the advantage, they have to suffer a lot, right? Instead of that, it's a good idea to have proper will and trust and estate planning and all this, right? Many people think, oh no, I don't want to have it, but it's a good idea. We highly recommend to have it. Again, take advice from the attorney and plan for it, right? So, okay, we said will, trust, health proxy, power of attorney, all different, all this is very important. What is health proxy? Especially in USA, let's say you are sick, you cannot think or talk, you cannot make a decision. So you assign somebody, let's say your wife or your brother, mother, father, sister, somebody you assign instead of you, because you cannot talk or you cannot make a decision, they will make a decision rather than somebody else is taking a decision, right? It's a very good idea to have it. So it's important documents, you got to make this, right? Now, finally, I want to conclude with this video with one of the best and most important what we are talking about. You got to track something called net worth tracking from year to year or once in 6 months. I'm not talking about if else. This is actual money or assets you have on your name. Why? We said initially, 3 months to 6 months of reserves, but eventually our goal is to build enough assets, enough revenue stream of money coming in so that you don't have to work anymore. Again, as I said, whenever you want, you can walk away financially independent, you can become. It all depends on not the age, but what is the source, what are the resources you have, right? So it's a good idea. And of course, as we go further, we'll talk about it, okay? And in our next video, maybe by end of this month, that means the end of March or first week of April, I'm going to talk about why someone has to have multiple streams of income. And also I'll talk about something called PIN assets. What is PIN and all that I'll describe a little bit, okay? But I'll give you one thought. If you look at it, most of us professionals, when we come to talk about diversification, we say, I'm busy or I cannot do this. A lot of things we'll say. Hey, just think about and look at the company where you are working. Are they dependent on only one market? Or only one product or one service, or they're diversifying and they're going to different markets and different products. They keep on adding product every year, right? Simple example, if you take Apple, everybody knows, right? Apple is only, they started with the computers, but did they stuck with the computers or they started adding like different line of products, right? When they entered in the phone market, there are a lot of other phone companies, right? They did not say, hey, this market is saturated, I cannot go into this, I cannot success. But they came into it and they become probably, I don't know, is the number one, number two, whatever the level, but they're one of the successful phone company now, right? It's like that. So Same thing. You cannot say I'm busy or I don't have time or too many people are doing, I don't want to do this. No, you got to have a parallel, multiple source of streams of income. That's where you can really build your wealth and you can be financially independent, right? We'll talk about in that. So thank you very much for taking time and watching this video. Hope we added some value, some information and education for you. If you like this video, see the value in this, share with at least 3 of your friends and family so that we can grow our membership and subscription for the BhaaviTaram, so that we would like to reach our goal of teaching and coaching, reaching about 1 million people, 10 lakh people by December 31st, 2024. We really appreciate all your support and guidance and encouragement that you are doing for us. With that, we are done. We'll see you in another video. Have a good day.